5 quarters of offense, and the Celtics got 4 quarters of offense. When you take 19 more shots than your opponent, it doesn't much matter if you only hit 7 threes. Like, they were plus 10 on the offensive rebounding. They had 7 fewer turnovers. So they just got more, to use a cliche, bites at the apple. I mean, Embiid didn't play great. Simmons didn't play great. Robert Covington, once again, a total no-show. But when you have that many extra chances, you are going to, and by the way, your season's on the line and you're at home. I mean, if you can't win that game, I don't know what the hell game you can win. And on the flip side, see that the Celtics offense looked to me going into the series what I thought they'd look like a lot. Just not enough scoring out there to compete with Philadelphia. They've obviously proven me wrong on that, but last night their offense looked like I thought it would.
It looked like their offense had looked, and also that's how the Celtics have played on the road in the playoffs, except winning game number 3.
Yep.
We believe that Philadelphia gave them the game in the second half of the fourth quarter. But you have to talk about T.J. McConnell and what he was able to do, because their coach, under a lot of criticism, me in particular, gave him criticism because he made decisions in games 1 through 3 that I believe affected the outcome. I believe he was totally outcoached in the first 3 games. He makes the lineup change and goes to T.J. starting. So what does that mean for the 76ers? Brad Stevens, what he had done was they had really rushed the three-point line of the 76ers in games 1 through 3. But what TJ gives them is the ability to not stay at the three-point line and be able to get to the basket. Ben Simmons couldn't get to the basket with his dribble because they put big people on him, and they played off of him because he couldn't shoot.
They didn't rush him. Yep.
TJ, they had to be able to try to drive him off the three-pointer, and he was able to break down the defense with his dribbling and driving and able to open up the rest of the offense. So he was a huge part to what they did in game number 4.
That's the lame duck theory I brought up yesterday, that what Boston has had going for it in this series is they don't have any lame ducks. Every guy, when they get the ball on the perimeter, is a threat to drive, a threat to shoot, a threat to pass. While Philly out there has a lot of guys that are only a threat to do 1 or 2 of those things. Ben Simmons is amazing, but he's only a threat to drive or pass, not a threat to shoot. Bellinelli is only a threat to shoot. Robert Covington is only a threat to shoot, really. Robert Covington, who's had a miserable series outside of game 2. T.J. McConnell, as limited as a player as he is,
he's a threat to do all 3. And Covington and Ilyasova, none of them dribble the ball well.
Right.
So you can play up on them. You don't have to worry about them going past you. So I believe that the substitution to TJ was a drastic change in style for what Philadelphia had been doing.
And don't leave out the fact that a lot of the Sixers they were in foul trouble early. I mean, they in the first half they were in foul trouble, but Brad Stevens kept everybody in and didn't want to really change anything, and it just seemed like they were a little hesitant, going up for rebounds, trying to play as aggressively as they wanted to, and they just couldn't get it done.
Listen, this was a game you brought up a lot. Role players play better at home. You saw Boston. Only Al Horford shot better than 50% in this game, and he only took 6 shots. So like anybody that took more than 6 shots shot less than 50% for Boston. Meanwhile, for Philly, if you get 44 combined points from T.J. McConnell and Dario Saric, you don't need Embiid and Simmons to have monster nights. Like if you'd have told me Embiid and Simmons were going to combine to go 12 of 30, I would say, oh, so Boston completes the sweep.
Like Sarge hasn't been real good in the playoffs. This is the first time that he's had a game where he had that type of stamp on the game.
These two, Simmons and Embiid, haven't been great in the playoffs. They had a good game yesterday, but this is not the series that we thought it was going to be, like you said.
Well, listen, Simmons has struggled enormously in this series. Like Simmons, we are seeing in a series when they can game plan for you, when you have, especially if you have a savvy coach on the other end, if you have a big hole in your game, take what LeBron said. Think about what LeBron said 2 games ago about Dwayne Casey in the 2011 finals. Think about how in 2011, LeBron had already won 2 MVPs. He probably should have at that point had 3 MVPs. He had led a team to a finals 2 separate times in his career, but he was not a fully complete player. And savvy coaching by Dallas totally took him out of his game. So if you're Ben Simmons, you've won 0 MVPs. You've never taken a team to the finals. Never took a team to the NCAA tournament. You've never played in big games since high school or since whatever it was. And so if someone can do that to LeBron, someone's going to be able to do it to 20-year-old Ben Simmons. That's what he's dealing with. Like, Embiid hasn't – the Celtics, again, I would put it on coaching. The Celtics have done a great job of pulling Embiid away from the basket. And so much of Embiid's value is defensively, and in the series prior, they'd been able to pull him away from the basket. Philly was able to overcome all that yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a great watching these young players who – you know, we're trying to make them the best in the league. But as they said last night in the telecast, they still have some tremendous holes in their game, especially Ben Simmons. Now, the thing about LeBron probably in 2012, the summer, the 2011, the summer, he probably wouldn't admit that Casey and the Mavericks did this to him. To me, it's wondering how long does it take for Ben Simmons to realize what LeBron did and realize, man, I need to add other things to my game.
What did Kenny, you mentioned the summer, what did Kenny Smith say at halftime that you liked about
He said
Philly?
he wasn't rooting against Philadelphia, but he was hoping for the sweep. He was hoping that Boston would sweep them because a number of people had put Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, the top 20 NBA players. And they're great players. They're going to be great players. But right now, they have tremendous holes in their game. And this summer, with the embarrassment if they got swept, would really force them to get back into the gym and be able to work on their games.
All right. Meanwhile, game 5 is set for Wednesday back in Boston. All right. Coming up, the Dallas Cowboys have enough weapons.